The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, good morning with Brendan Riker and Jamie Lent. I'm Chuck Heinz. Yates Morning Center chat line is open. Activity already this morning. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. We get this. I'm on my way to Perryton for work right now. Okay, travel safe.
Okay.
Get up there and get your stuff done. And, you know, if you're spending the night or coming back, you know, then get up there and don't dilly-dally. Just put your nose to the grindstone.
Do not dilly-dally.
And maybe just take a half hour for lunch instead of the full hour. And that way you can knock off maybe a little bit early. Okay. That's maybe something you could do. Just a little alert for you if you want to alert your lucky lady to another TV in your house while you're watching football this weekend. This came across my communique this morning. Hallmark Channel's countdown to Christmas starts today. 40 all-new original movies. And then it says this that I thought you would like, Jamie. Will bring joy to your world. Because you're all about the joy. So you're all about the joy. Just wanted to let you know, like if your lucky lady says, amor, well, hey, you know, there's a TV in the other room, or maybe I'll go in the other room and you can watch the Hallmark Channel because there's 40 new movies for you to sit here and enjoy.
But you guys don't ever do that, right?
We stay in the same room.
You stay in the same room?
Yeah, we do. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, we stay in the same. She, for whatever crazy reason, Jamie, she enjoys being around me.
I'm just shocked that you think our audience cares that the Hallmark 30 days of Christmas
40,
or whatever, 40 days of Christmas.
No, I just alert their lucky lady in case that, you know, there's complaining about football. I'm like, oh, hey, you can stream this on your little device, or you can go off to the bedroom, or, you know, you're upstairs, downstairs, your alternate TVs, whatever. And maybe you're going outside to watch football and say, hey, I'm going outside to watch football. You can watch the Hallmark Channel because from what I understand, 40 new all original movies that you haven't seen before that probably have the same plot. Okay, but we're not going to say that. Not going to be disparaging. And it'll bring joy to your world, sweetheart.
Okay.
That's what Chuck said this morning. It'll bring joy. It'll bring joy to your world. We want to bring joy to people's world. Do we not? For the most part.
Do we not want to?
We want to.
I don't think we're trying to bring anything terrible to their world.
No,
yeah.
we want to bring joy to their world. We will have we'll have baseball on the air for you this afternoon as the Dodgers and the Metropolitans will play from New York. That'll be at 3:30 this afternoon with the Mets on the brink of it. Jamie, they have run into a buzzsaw that are the Los Angeles Dodgers. 10-2 was the final in that game last night. The Dodgers look to be in a high gear offensively.
Yeah, that's a loaded team that looks like they're playing some really good baseball right now. Maybe they took a bit of a sigh of relief after they got through that tough series with the Padres. That they were on the brink there for a couple of games, but right now, man, they look really good.
10 runs, 12 hits for the Dodgers. The Mets scattered 10 and got 2. Dodgers with a run in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the sixth, 3 in the eighth, and the Mets with just 1 in the first and the third. So that series is 3-1. Do you think the Dodgers win tonight or today?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Man, I not to belabor the point, but I really felt for you last night. Seriously, the Yankees were within a strike of being up 3-1, and then a double and a 2-run home run to tie it, and it goes to the 10th. And then another 2-run home run to walk it off for Cleveland. That was electric last night.
That was a great baseball game. Back and forth.
It was.
Back and forth. And guys coming up with big swings and big moments and all that. And awesome atmosphere. Yeah, it was a thrilling game.
Yeah. and the Yankees had their guy on too, Luke Weaver. I mean, he's so thin, he's so small, but what does he throw that baseball?
Yes, he throws the baseball.
But he just
left a changeup up, and and you'd say he had a breaking ball up left by Holmes in the 10th, and credit the Indians hitters, they didn't miss him.
No,
neither one of them. They were both no doubters as soon as they hit the bat.
Yeah. There's no question about it, and and I guess you'll see, from the Yankee standpoint. I mean, the series. I mean, they're up 2-1, and it's not like, Aaron Boone can go, well, I kind of know how that feels in terms of hitting one of those things, to kind of turn things around. So the Yankees will have to try to do that as well. I mean, they'll play again tonight, and that's a 7:08 first pitch between the Yankees and the Guardians from Cleveland. And then the series will shift now to New York on Sunday. Well, excuse me. They'll play, I guess they have another game, and they'll play tomorrow in Cleveland. Sorry about that.
Yes,
and then
3 in Cleveland.
3 in Cleveland, then they'll go back to New York on Monday. So, if they won the next two, they won today and tomorrow, it'd be over.
Yes, sir.
It'd be over.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking,
still have a series lead.
I was
all the above.
I know. I just kind of got confused in my mind. I was thinking that for whatever reason, I don't know why I was thinking this. I was thinking last night, like, oh, well, they'll shift back to New York now.
No, it's 2-3-2. They're a day behind the National League.
Yeah. I just like I said, I got a little confused in my mind. Maybe I need to take some extra stuff here. I've gotten a little confused at this time in the morning. The last couple, like every morning this week.
It's early. It's early.
Well, I know, but
it's early for all of us.
Usually I'm pretty spot on. So, reasonably spot on. You guys are laughing. Juan says this, I turned the page to 45 today, fellas. Happy birthday, Juan.
Awesome, Juan. Happy birthday.
And could not think of a better way to start my day than by listening to my favorite morning radio show. You guys are awesome, and I hope you all have a great day. Thank you, Juan. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you.
Juan, you should come by the station today and let me give you a birthday present.
Okay. That'd be great. We're downtown, Juan. Just come on down.
620 Avenue O.
Jamie will hook you up.
I'll hook you up with a birthday present.
Then we get this. Juan and his wife must not be in the same room. Hey, guys, glad to be listening to you. I am Juan's lucky lady, and I just want to wish him a happy birthday. He loves your show, and we listen every morning. Okay. Well, thank you, Juan's lucky lady. They were like back to back. So it's like, I wonder if like Juan's getting ready for work and his lucky lady's off in another part of the house. And they're like, oh, we're going to text the show here. Let's see. I apologize, Jamie. You tend to be a stickler about this. You're more of a one game at a time guy. I was looking ahead on the schedule and didn't realize Iowa State will be coming off of a bye week when we play them.
Yeah, that's not
ideal.
And it feels like there's somebody, obviously Baylor is too, but we're coming off the bye too. It feels like there was somebody else remaining on our schedule that was going to be as well.
Colorado.
See, there. Yeah. I'm.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, it is Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just feel like we've done so well that we've gotten our set. It's crazy. Like there's different levels of, you're nervous when the season starts, that you're going to have a good year. You're nervous, after the first 2 games, man, this is rough. Are we even going to make a bowl game? Okay. And then now, like you've won these games in a row to get to 5-1. You're playing really good football, and you start thinking, man, we got a chance here, right?
Right.
And so now, to get to a Big 12 title game.
Right.
And so now there's a different level of like excitement that brings nerves. And, it feels like if we could finish 5-1, we could be in a Big 12 title game. There's no guarantee of that. And I feel like it's totally doable. And I don't know. So here I am fretting over whether we're going to be 9-3 or 10-2, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying 8-4 is not possible. So it's just I don't know. It's exciting times though. That's for certain.
And Coach McGuire's going to tell you, hey, Jamie, we're just trying to go 1-0 this week.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Hit us up there, and your thoughts as well can be verbalized on the Visual Edge IT hotline. That is 806-771-0973. Robert said, I think he means he turned 54 yesterday. He said, I ruined 54 yesterday. So I think he'd say I turned 54 yesterday.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Happy belated to you, Robert. And Robert is a Yankee fan and a Notre Dame fan. So last night was probably not so good for him. Being a Yankee fan, makes your stomach turn when things happen like that. Somebody wants to know what my definition of spot on is. That's a good question. I feel like I know it when I am, and I feel like I know it when I'm not. Okay, there have been moments when I've been spot on, and then there have been some moments this week when I've been way, way off. All right, so we'll, in a couple hours, make predictions with Upon Further Review. Then we'll review those Monday morning. Right now, if you want to see kind of how everybody's thoughts were, you can go to doublet97.3.com, the doublet97network.com, and see what everybody had to say about that.
Try again. doubletsportsnetwork.com.
doubletsportsnetwork.com. It's a new thing, so I'm trying to get.
I know. It's written up there. It's written up there.
Muscle memory. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that. What is your confidence level for tomorrow?
Probably somewhere in the close to 80%, 75 to high 70s to 80.
I was gonna guess you at about 80% based on kind of how you felt this week and how you're feeling this week about things. Okay, so among the guys that made comments on this, Choice Woodman said this: the Red Raiders keep rolling. Tech takes care of business, and Joey McGuire will be 3-0 after bye weeks in his time in Lubbock. Tech 38, Baylor 20. An 18-point win.
I think he's got the largest margin.
Yeah.
The widest margin, maybe.
Yeah.
Is a better way to say that.
I think you're exactly right. Others have single digits. I have 1 point. So does Haxton. And you can go and see what maybe I don't know if he's the smartest guy in the room, but he appears to be Rob Bro. Right? I mean, it seems like he knows what he's talking about. Generally speaking. I mean, I feel like everybody does to a certain point. Some of us are a little closer to the edge on that than others.
It's good, Chuck.
Some of us are kind of wonder.
Thanks for the ringing endorsement of our staff.
Well, no, I just was trying to add a little levity to the situation. But yeah, I think by and large everybody feels like this is a TCB game. Although me and Haxton have it at 1 point wins. In fact, I think I even said it's a game-winning field goal at the end, and a wet ball would cause both teams problems. So you can see whatever.
A wet dog.
Right, you can see what everybody had to say. Just go to the doubletsportsnetwork.com and click on predictions, and you'll be able to see it right there pretty easily. You may have to scroll down just a little bit to see that.
For the most part, it feels like everybody's picking right around a 10-point win. To the high 30s to the high 20s or mid 30s, mid 20s, somewhere in there.
Yeah. There's a couple of comments about, Joey McGuire to Baylor. Apparently there's a article out about that because Dave Aranda, let's face it, he's under fire. I mean, unless they just won out, it might be a challenge for him to hang on to his job there in Waco. But I mean, he's allowed to right the ship as well. I mean, and they're probably saying to themselves, well, we've got Tech, then Oklahoma State, then TCU, and then at West Virginia, at Houston, at Kansas. They're probably saying to themselves, well, man, we got opportunities to win all those games.
They have opportunities. I would very much think that it's unlikely to win all of those
Sure,
games.
no, I agree with you, but I mean, they're
or anywhere close to all of.
Well, maybe so. I mean, they're 2-4. Coach McGuire said last night on his radio show on Double T 97.3 that they should have won. The Baylor should have won the Colorado game. I think we all acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. And he made a case for that they could be 4-2, and that they're a good football team.
I don't disagree, but I mean, to say that they feel like they could win all 6 of them seems a little bit like crazy talk to me. I think they're better than their record shows. I don't think they're a terrible team right now. They're 0-3 in conference play. I don't think they're terrible. I think that they're going to challenge a bunch of teams down the stretch here and make it difficult for them. But man, if they went 3-3, I would think that would be a good finish for them.
Okay, so to finish 5-7 on the season, they miss out on a bowl game.
Yeah,
and that. Who knows? Does that cost Dave Aranda his job? It might.
Oh man, I would think it would, but I don't know what the Baylor folks are thinking.
Yeah. Now, are you in the least bit concerned that Baylor would make a run at Joey McGuire?
I would think they would kick the tires on Joey McGuire to see if he has any interest in that. I mean, you have to accept the fact. This same question came up last year when the possibility of Scott Drew leaving, of Waco or Baylor, and would Grant McCaslin return there? I feel a lot more confident that Joey McGuire would stay than Grant McCaslin, who played for Baylor, and cut his teeth in the coaching ranks at Baylor, so he has all sorts of connections there. But I think you'd be silly to think there's no way Joey McGuire would leave for there. I think you'd be silly. I think he would stay, but to think that he wouldn't consider it, I mean, all coaches talk about how much easier it is to recruit in the Metroplex and all that when you're right there compared to recruiting to West Texas. It's a different deal. That's why you need really good recruiters and guys that are really committed and all in and all that to come here and coach at Texas Tech. So I'm not saying it's a better job or anything like that, but I mean, he's been there before. He has connections there before. He surely would think about it. But I would think he would stay here. But to act like it's crazy talk, I think that's crazy talk.
Okay.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Thank you for being with us. Jamie Lent and Brendan Reichers in for Jeff. I'm Chuck Heinz. Come to you this morning from the First United Bank studio, and look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line or the Visual Edge IT hotline. That number is 806-771-0973. You can go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app to participate in the Yates Flooring Center chat line. All right, Jamie, I want to get into some things that Joey McGuire said last night on his radio show. We get you ready for Tech and Baylor tomorrow. Our Optimum Game Day Live coverage begins 24 hours from right now with the Saturday morning quarterback recap of the high school games, and then we'll get into the full coverage of Tech and Baylor. Do you think tomorrow is more about you than them, in that it's about you taking care of your business, not necessarily you scheming or having to be completely worried about this portion of their offense or this portion of their defense or them taking over the game?
I think that's fair enough. I mean, obviously you have to, I feel like, play well in the secondary with what they've had recently throwing the football with Sawyer Robertson. I think he's been good doing that, and we know that's been a bit of a struggle for you at times this year, but it has gotten better, and it looks like you're healthier maybe than you've been in a long time back there in the secondary. But for the most part, I do feel like you're with a more talented team, and so yeah, I think I will agree with you a little bit and say it is about you doing what you're supposed to do and not as much being worried about, the amazing talent that you're facing off with on the other side.
Yeah. Coach McGuire did say last night that we're going to go into Saturday's game as healthy as we've been.
And
he said that even goes back to the start of the season and the very first game in the ACU game. So that is really good news. With regard to what you just said about the health of the secondary, because you've got Braylon Lux, who's not even on the doubtful list, let alone the out for this game list like he's been at times. He said Ben Roberts, who was on the show last night, the linebacker, he said, he was asked what's the key of the game tomorrow from a defensive standpoint. He said, put the quarterback in stressful situations, and then he said, but make sure we back it up on the back end. So
yeah, I would tell you every defense every week wants to put quarterbacks. It wants them to feel pressure, wants them to feel stressed out, wants them to feel uncomfortable, all the above. And I think over the last couple of weeks, you've done a much better job at that. And I think your secondary has benefited from that because we've seen some interceptions or some interception opportunities.
Yeah, and then from the turnover standpoint, one of the things, Coach McGuire talked in the summer and in fall camp about how this year he went to Detroit and spent time with Dan Campbell and the Lions organization. And he said one of the things that they changed about how they practice defensively was because of the Detroit Lions, and they have a drill amongst all their other drills, but one of these drills where they punch it in practice every single ball to cause turnovers. And he feels like that mindset of to punch it. I mean, that's what, all teams want to create turnovers, and you see the peanut punch and all that kind of stuff. But it becomes...
The what? Peanut punch?
Yeah.
The peanut punch?
Yeah, the peanut punch.
What is the peanut punch?
Well, that was the guy, I want to say his name was Charles Peanut, and he played for the Chicago Bears. And he was the guy that was the one that really became the first guy. It's Charles Peanut Tillman. That was his name, Charles Tillman, and he played cornerback in the National Football League, and his nickname was Peanut. And he was a guy that was kind of infamous for punching the ball out and forcing fumbles or punching it away from players. His well-timed punch of the ball was commonly known as the peanut punch. Okay,
I'd never heard that before.
Okay, and then when he retired from the NFL, and he had a really good career. He played 12 years for the Bears, took them to a Super Bowl, and then played for the Carolina Panthers and went to the Super Bowl with them. Didn't win one, but
is there a specific tactic?
Well, I think it's just the punching the ball, being deliberate with punching the ball when the running back's coming through or the receiver's got the ball in his hand. And that's why you see so many teams now trying to protect the ball better, because this has been going on for quite some time where people...
Yeah, it seems like a pretty basic move, right? Just when you're tackling the guy, aim for the ball.
But he was the guy that really kind of started it, just really, made an emphasis every time he was around somebody to try to punch the ball out, whether it's punching it up through their arms or punching it down. But anyway, after he retired, he became an FBI agent. Went to work for the Federal Bureau of Investigation in 2018.
And now you know
the rest of the story.
So, so far this season we have 8 interceptions. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have 3 fumble recoveries. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So really it's been more about the interceptions than the fumbles. But like you said, it's a mindset that you're always going for the ball, always trying to, make something happen there. And obviously, some of those fumbles have been huge for you.
No question, and then capitalizing on them and getting the points off turnovers has helped you, win ball games. Clearly, with the number of single possession or single digit scores that you've had, in terms of how many points you've won by this year.
Yeah, it feels like the Cincinnati game the turnovers were just massive. Mm-hmm. And you turning them into points.
He was again asked about the Arizona game and Taj Brooks fumbling the ball twice. And he said he didn't say anything to Taj about that. He didn't feel like he needed to say anything to Taj about that. But he said the driving force this week has been to his offensive line that they need to strain more on the backside of the line. And he feels like that Taj should have had 200 yards rushing against Arizona. And that he feels like that the backside was what caused the fumbles, and that the offensive line has to strain more. And he's used that word quite a bit, but he feels like that the fumbles were caused because of the backside of the running plays not holding up, the line holding up like they should have to provide Taj that protection from coming from behind him.
Yeah, maybe so, but man, it seems like you got to expect your running back to take care of the football.
No question. Yeah. But I think he feels like also that if they could just hold that block just a little bit more, that Taj might be able to get another 30, 40 yards a game.
Fair enough.
And he has said that a couple of times this week. He said that on Monday, and then he said that again last night. 7:10 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Your thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. We will take your score predictions as well. Tech and Baylor tomorrow with Optimum Game Day Live coverage beginning at 7. The kick is at 3 from Jones Stadium.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Next, Jamie's question of the day.
Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, pull up your Big 12 football schedules for this weekend. I'm going to help you out here, and I'm going to give you the lines a little bit.
Okay.
But I want you to tell me who you think are the two most likely upsets in the conference this weekend. You got BYU hosting Oklahoma State. BYU's favored by 9. You have Texas Tech hosting Baylor. Red Raiders favored by 6.5. Cincinnati, a 4.5-point favorite at home against Arizona State. Kansas, a 5.5-point favorite at home against Houston. Arizona is a 2.5-point favorite at home against Colorado. Iowa State, also the home team, 13.5-point favorite against UCF. West Virginia is at home, but K-State is favored. In K-State, the road team, 2.5-point favorite at West Virginia. And Utah favored by 3.5 at home against TCU. Which two games do you think are the most likely upsets? And I'm not talking about with the spread or anything. I'm just they're not covering, but they're going to win the game.
Just win the game. Yeah. We do that best. I mean, the point spreads other guys do a much better job with that. At least from my perspective. Like me personally, I don't do that well.
Okay.
But man, I want to pick West Virginia over K-State. That's a long way to go. I'm curious.
Not that long for them, though.
It's still a hike for K-State.
It's a plane flight.
I know.
What is that, like an hour, 30-minute flight?
Oh, no. It's
from Kansas?
No, it's all of 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay. 2.5 hours.
2.5, 3 hours. I mean, it's not like their fans are going to... It's not like their fans are going to be able to go from the Flint Hills to the mountains. It'd be a raucous environment maybe, but after what Neil Brown had to say, the fans may be turning on him going, hey, you think you're having so much fun just not winning? Okay, so I think I just had this sneaky suspicion that Oklahoma State's going to win this weekend, so I'm going to say Oklahoma State.
Okay. That'd be good for the Red Raiders.
Yep, it would. And I'm going to stick with the other one that, and it really doesn't matter. It doesn't help us one way or the other. So I'm just going to dismiss it. I think West Virginia is going to knock K-State off and put them give them their second loss. So give me West Virginia and give me Oklahoma State.
Okay, that's a good one.
When I'm looking at this, it's kind of interesting to me because some of the lines, I would think, okay, that's interesting how you wouldn't think of that team as the favorite, but that's how the line is put. I think Colorado has a good shot at beating Arizona in Tucson. I really do. I think that the Buffaloes have a legitimate shot in winning that game. And then my other, I guess, upset pick, just looking at the spread, I think Arizona State can win and probably should win at Cincinnati. I know Cincinnati is a better ball club than we thought, but I still think now, and part of that is Arizona State's quarterback is out, but I still think they should be able to run the football against Cincinnati.
I like both of Brendan's answers. I mean, first for me, I think it's Colorado over Arizona. I think that absolutely could happen. I think Arizona's a pretty mediocre team. Colorado's offense is rolling, then I think they could absolutely win. So I'll take that one. And then I'll go with one of Chuck's. I think West Virginia is going to beat Kansas State this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would be picking Arizona State if Leavitt was healthy, although I think their backup is solid. It's just going on the road in the Big 12. Just don't know. Not that Cincinnati is like an environment that you worry about, but I think Arizona State's a better team. But the fact that it's in Cincinnati and they don't have their starting quarterback makes me think, go with the Bearcats in that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will be shocked to see Oklahoma State beat BYU tonight. At the same time, while I don't ever root for Oklahoma State, this would be a time where after it was over, I'd be like, okay, well, we benefited from that.
Okay, so let's just say
I wouldn't root for them, but if it happened, I'd be like, okay, that's good for us.
let's just say, okay, let's dare to dream here. Let's just say it's 21-14 at the half, Oklahoma State. Are you going to get your paddles out down in your basement and start begging on the couch every time Oklahoma State has the ball?
No.
No.
I will root against Oklahoma State the whole time.
The whole time, no matter what.
The whole time.
No.
The entire time. Unless BYU all of a sudden becomes the most trash-talking team that we know.
Which they're not.
That would change my opinion.
They're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that. I will root against Oklahoma State the whole time.
Okay.
But if they win, again, I'll be like, silver lining, that's good for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you I'm rooting for Oklahoma State tonight. And I hope they win, whether it's by one or a dozen. I'm really curious about this game. I'm really curious how many people are going to show up at Arrowhead for the KU Houston game.
Now that makes one person that's interested.
Yeah, because
nobody else in the Big 12 cares.
Oh, I know, because my follow up to that one was going to be if you put the KU Houston basketball game at Reliant this weekend and put a basketball court there, there would be more fans at that than there would be at the KU Houston football game. And it would be a louder environment between a potential number 1 and a potential number 4 preseason. If you had a preseason basketball game that was a Big 12 game, said, hey, you two go at it here and you two go at it here, and one would be far better than the other. I think the Jayhawks they're just awful. Wouldn't it surprise me at all to see Houston win that ball game?
I would be shocked. I don't think Kansas is that bad. They've just have not finished games. They like Baylor have lost a lot of close games.
Yeah,
their quarterback's turned that over too much.
Maybe Donovan Smith will light it up for him.
Let's hope he's the starter.
Yeah.
At last check, he was not.
Yeah, I know, right? He's failed in his opportunity there because he's not been playing very well. Clearly.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
We've not talked about it. It's been in the Sports Center, but how about the Tech soccer team winning last night, Jamie? 19th ranked Red Raiders beat West Virginia 1-0 on the road in Morgantown last night, as Texas Tech is now 12-2-2 overall and 7-0-2 in Big 12 play. They got their lone goal by Peyton Parsons on a first half penalty kick, and then got a big save from their goalkeeper to win the match against West Virginia. So it's exciting what this soccer team's doing for Red Raiders.
Yeah, Coach Stone and company have been really good after some early season struggles and kind of getting past the whole dealing with all the injuries thing. Man, they've settled in nicely, and they are playing fantastic right now. If you look at the conference standings, you see Them on top of the conference with TCU at 7-0-2 at this point. Both those teams 12-2-2 overall. Just a really, really good job by this team. And the team they beat in West Virginia last night is third in the conference, now 6-2-1. And so for the Red Raiders to go and win there on the road last night was absolutely massive.
So they'll stay on the road. They're going to go from Morgantown to Cincinnati, and they'll play at Cincinnati on Sunday, and that'll be at noon our time, 1 o'clock Cincinnati time. So we'll see how that goes for them on Sunday afternoon. So there you go. 8:17 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
Cincinnati, by the way, is 11th in the conference, so hopefully Red Raiders can tack on another W.
Yeah, don't be stumbling and eating some of their stupid chili and having a tummy ache, okay?
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, or spaghetti or whatever it is that they do.
Are you anti-Skyline chili?
No, I just...
Yeah. But you just called it stupid, didn't you?
Well, I mean, they made such a big deal out of it. Sometimes, when people mix it... And I realize times I make big things out of things too, but sometimes when people make such a big thing out of something, it makes me go oppo.
I think most people are like that.
Yeah, it makes me go oppo.
Yeah.
But I just didn't get a chance to try it when we were in Cincinnati back during basketball season. Because
I'm a little surprised that you didn't.
Well, the Skyline Chili place was closed.
Oh, is there only one place?
Well, it's like we're close to where we were. Yeah,
okay.
There was one place to really.
Yeah. And you didn't try what was it, the Tiger Claw or whatever that you were supposed to get at BYU? What was it? Some kind of claw or something?
Yeah, some kind of tiger tail or cougar tail.
Cougar tail. Yeah, that makes more sense, Brennan.
The concession stand wasn't open.
Oh, man. This is a conspiracy for you to miss out on this good food.
I know. I walked around the Marriott Center there in Provo, and was just kind of... I always kind of like to size things up compared to our place versus other people's place, and the concourse is really small there at the Marriott Center, and it's a steep. You got to walk up to the top. It's a bit of a hike from the floor to the top. But at any rate, the Cougar Tail concession stand wasn't open when I was ready for it. So that was a little disappointing. Jeff Haxton weighs in with a boo. I guess on the Skyline Chili.
Oh, he doesn't like it, or he's booing you because you...
He could be booing me.
Yeah, because you poo-pooed it.
He could be.
I wonder if Hax has tried it.
He could be with me. Dallas writes in, "Hey, Chuck, just wanted to report that my son, who is also a listener, requested chili tonight, my famous brisket chili, but I told him it was still too hot outside. I don't care if it's in the 60s or not." Okay, that's good. Jeff is booing me.
Oh, okay. So he liked it then.
I guess so.
I mean, it doesn't sound that bad to me. Again, I don't eat chili, but...
Yeah. Haxton's saying I've got excuses. I had excuses because I didn't get a chance to try it.
That's right, Hax.
Excuses.
Figure it out, Heinz.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
This weather report from Ames, Iowa, going to be 83 in Ames tomorrow. 53 is the low. Don't think UCF is worried about the weather. Okay.
No, it sounds like they're not.
That's good. Going to be 67 here for another 5 months. Then I will be 68. Oh, okay. Just kidding. Okay.
Surely he's not talking about the weather.
Yeah, no.
I think he was talking about his age.
I'm with Chuck on the Julio spaghetti. 100% out on the nasty. Okay. Here we go. Chuck, when you cook chili, do you do beans or no beans? Lucky lady's in charge of chili, and we do beans at our house. Doesn't make us bad people.
It's funny how you threw her under the bus.
Well, she's the chili maker.
Yeah, but we both know that if Chuck Heinz didn't like something she was doing, Chuck Heinz would tell her.
I like it too. Yeah, right. No, I like the beans.
But you totally threw her. Well, she makes it.
I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
You totally just
Yeah, I didn't mean it like that.
Totally threw her under the bus and stepped away from it. It's not my decision. It's hers.
Well, I mean, she's in charge of the chili, but I embrace the beans in the chili. Okay. Full disclosure. Let's see. Still don't get why TCU is so much better in the rankings. We went to Fort Worth and tied them, identical records. Not saying Tech should be ranked, but big difference really for no reason. It will matter come tournament seeding time. That's with regard to soccer.
Yeah, I'm not certain. How high is TCU ranked?
I think they're 8th.
8th, yeah, so that's a big difference.
And I think the other thing is, I don't have everybody's schedule in my head, okay, but just kind of seeing what Coach Stone said, the other day, that down the stretch that the Tech schedule is tougher than the TCU schedule. So just in terms of how the matchups are at this point in time, hanging on and staying at the top is going to be challenging. Mm-hmm. But last night was big for him. Last night was huge for him in that win. 8:21 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Probably a good week for the Cowboys to be off, don't you think, with all the challenges that they've had this week with their owner and everything?
It feels like a good time. Yeah, sure. They maybe get some things figured out. It's funny, Chuck. You've over the years have talked about the bye weeks and stuff like that. Stay off the bottom line, and the off season being like, oh, that's the time when NFL teams really worry because they don't trust their players to act right and they get themselves into trouble and all this. Yeah. And here we are in this bye week, and what are we talking about? Man, we can't have bye weeks because, the owner's going to say something stupid and
82-year-old
try
man.
To fire somebody on the radio.
Yeah.
That's the Dallas Cowboys right there for you.
Just drama.
I mean, I love how loyal Cowboy fans are and their belief in the team and all the above. I truly... It's like I say about Colorado football fans right now. I feel bad for them that they have to root for that guy. I feel bad for Cowboy football fans that you just have to keep dealing with Jerry. I mean, seems like a loyal fan base that deserves better. Loyal and passionate.
Yeah. The one guy, and I may be completely, I'll just run this up the flagpole with you. The one guy that I think that could come in, and I don't know if he'd have success or not, because he has expressed a desire to be in professional football and at the team level in a management or GM role. But I think Troy Aikman could be the guy. If Jerry said, I am stepping away from football, Troy Aikman is going to be the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. He'll be in charge of our football operation. I think that would bring instant credibility from the fan base standpoint to the Cowboys.
I would think it would show that they're trying to do things differently. Sure. Do you think that apple that hasn't fallen too far from the tree, Steven would allow that or want that? Because if Jerry's stepping away, it feels like Steven's stepping in.
I think at some point in time, you have to swallow your ego a little bit, and that everybody has to do
even
that.
The Jones family?
Even the Jones family.
Okay, because they haven't done it up to this point.
Well, I know, but if Jerry said, I'm bringing in Troy to be the GM, and Steven is going to be, at some point in time, Steven is going to be the principal owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
And the guy running the show.
Yeah.
And it feels like he's going to feel the same way that Jerry feels now.
You could have a hierarchy, though, where Steven is in charge and Aikman is reporting to him, and I think that you would have to say, from Steven's standpoint, you're just not going to be in the limelight like Troy is. Could you handle that? That's a big question, right?
Oh, I think Steven's way more sensible than Jerry is.
Yeah.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.